Hey folks, and welcome to Solar Cabin Channel. I've got a fun project for you that I think will also help explain how to set up some small solar panel systems. Let me tell you that I've lived off-grid for over 20 years now, using just a small 400-watt system on my cabin. You can see behind me here. And that runs everything in my place. And one of the things that I do a lot of adventure videos out in the boonies and out in the countries, and because gas prices are so high, the last year I got me an e-bike. Now this is the Ariel X 52-volt e-bike, and I use this for a lot of adventuring, and I like to go off and go places maybe where of course there isn't any power or anything like that, where I can recharge the e-bike. But I recharge this e-bike every day off of my 400-watt system here at the cabin. And this e-bike will get, the Ariel X will get about 30 miles, doing 30 miles per hour of range. So the battery, which is a 52-volt battery, 18 amp hour battery, will get me a good 30 miles in range, riding at 30 miles per hour by itself. And that's generally all I need for doing supply runs and things like that. But what if I want to go farther, and what if I want to camp overnight where there isn't any power? Now, I've noticed some other guys have put together some solar recharging systems for their e-bikes. One guy has a big wood rack off his back with a solar panel off it. Another guy built his own trailer and put it on. But I'm going to show you a project today that I think is a lot simpler to put together. May actually be safer for your e-bikes. You're not going to overcharge your batteries. You don't need a lot of fancy controllers or anything like that. In fact, you can get all of these parts right on Amazon, and you may even have some of them around your places. So I'm going to be putting together a 100-watt flexible solar panel, and instead of hooking it to my e-bike, because I like to ride my e-bike all the time and I don't want to be carrying a solar panel around, kind of looks goofy too if you ask my opinion, but I want to still be able to recharge my e-bike if I go camping, or if I'm going on a longer ride than the battery will carry me for. I want to be able to recharge my e-bike from the free solar sun power that is coming down on us every day. So I'm going to show you this system, and I will show you how to recharge it. But I want to explain that this 100-watt system that I'm going to be setting up can also be used for an emergency power system, a gadget recharger at your homes, an emergency backup system, which would be really nice if you have a blackout at your house, and is fairly affordable. And all the parts are available on Amazon. So let's go ahead and walk through what I'm going to be doing with this e-bike. Okay, so what I have here is my Doggy Hut extra large bike trailer, or in this case an e-bike trailer, which I use all the time to take my dogs. Here's my little dog. To take my dogs, I have two dogs, and together they weigh about 60 pounds. I can put them both in this, take this and still ride 30, 35 miles per hour on this e-bike, and tow them wherever I want to go. It will handle up to 100 pounds. It is the extra large, so it's quite a large version. It has a opening in the back, an opening in the front, and an opening in the top. And because it is designed the way it is, it's made for heavy weight. I'm going to be using this to put my solar panel on. And I'm also going to be putting in a 100 amp hour LifePo 4 battery. Now I'll explain why. This can be used for a lot of different purposes. I use it for hauling my dogs, but I also use it if I'm going grocery shopping and I want to carry a whole lot of supplies. But it will also make an excellent e-bike camper because it has all kinds of room. You can open it up from the top or from the back or bottom. It has all kinds of room in this to put camping supplies. So I can put my battery up front, my solar panel on top, and still have plenty of room to put in a two-person tent, a couple of sleeping bags, some cooking appliances and groceries, and carry this along on the e-bike. And this way, I can disconnect my e-bike from my charging system, and I can ride the e-bike around on my adventures when I don't want to tow this around. I just use it to recharge my e-bike, and then I can take the e-bike and go off on trails without a big solar panel hanging off of my e-bike or something like that. So I'm going to show you how I set up that system and what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using a 100-watt flexible solar panel. Now I'm not even going to try to pronounce the company's name that makes this. It's Chinese, and I'm not even going to attempt it. But this is the solar panel I'm using. right here. It is a 100-watt solar panel. Put that up front here. It is a 100-watt flexible solar panel. Now you want to use a flexible solar panel for a project like this, or any place where you're going to be, where you want lightweight and also some flexibility. You can see that this can flex 30 degrees without doing any damage. It doesn't have any glass plate. It doesn't have any aluminum frame. The output is a little bit less than a traditional rigid solar panel, but this is a monocrystalline solar panel. It is 100 watt. It has an open circuit voltage of 21.64 volts, a short circuit current of 6.11 amps, maximum power voltage of 18 volts, and maximum power current about 5.5 amps. Now this comes as a kit, and I got the kit, which I'll show you here. This comes as a kit, and it comes with the power controller, and this controller will work for either AGM, which is a traditional sealed battery, all glass matte battery, or it will work for LiFePO4 lithium ion batteries. And it is just a PWM controller. I would have preferred an MPPT controller, get about 15% more power out of it. But for what I'm going to be using for this, this will work fine. It also comes with a lot of wire, actually more wire than I need. Okay, it comes with the wires. It's designed so you can just basically connect it and connect it to a battery. All you have to do is provide a battery. And it comes with all the wires and MC4 connectors. Has these are called MC4 connectors. Those will connect to the panel. It has the wires that connect to the controller, and it has the wires that connect with these copper clamps that connect to your battery. And that's basically all you need to connect it to a battery. Now, I will also be connecting a small inverter, which I will use to run the power controller that comes with the e-bike battery. And I'll explain that in a minute. But this is what comes in the kit, okay? A PWM controller, 10 amp controller. This does have 2 USB ports on it. So if you don't want to run an inverter and you're just running this for a different use, and you're using this as a gadget recharger, this does have 2 USB ports built into the controller, so you can run 12-volt USB appliances directly off of this without even having an inverter. They do include lots of wire, which I appreciate. Probably more wire than I will use for this project, and the clamps. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing, I'll set this out of the way for now. And what I did is I took some double-sided Velcro tape. That's this stuff here you can buy. Get the good stuff. And I put 2 strips on both the back and the front side of the top of this. And I wanted to use Velcro. You can use zip ties if you want. I wanted to use Velcro because I would probably use this panel for some other projects, especially in winter and that, to recharge up some other projects. And I wanted to be able to take it off of this trailer if I just want to haul my dogs around, or if I'm going on a short run and want to go get groceries. So I'm using double-sided Velcro tape, which I have also connected to the back of the solar panel. Okay, I got the Velcro tape on there. Then I'm going to position this so it's towards the front of the trailer. Now this is completely water sealed, watertight, so you don't have to worry about it getting ruined in the rain or anything like that. It's waterproof. And then you just set this on top of here like so. Line up my Velcro. Okay, that's secure. It's not going anywhere. Make sure it's sealed down good. Like I said, you could use zip ties if you want to. I just don't want to poke holes in my trailer. And here's the connectors. Then you're going to connect these MC4 connectors to the controller. Now, when these wires come, they're not bare end wires. You'll have to cut back about a 1/2 inch of your wires in order to connect them to the controller. Not a hard thing to do. I'm just going to set the connector over here for a minute. Okay, and these are and it gives you quite a bit of long cables. I'd say at least 10 feet of cable there. These are the MC4 connectors. And you can't mess these up. They're positive and negative. They just snap in there, make sure they're nice and tight. Okay, that's all you need to do to connect your solar panel. And then you just stick the wires in the appropriate slots down here. It's got a positive and negative. These are marked positive and negative. So just make sure that you put the positive wire to the positive connection that shows for the solar panel, and the negative wire to the negative connection that shows for the solar panel. Now that's the solar panel connector. Now we're going to be hooking up a battery to this. And I'm going to be using these clamps that they also send with it. There's my other one. I'm going to be using these battery clamps that they send with it. And I'm going to be using a 100 amp hour LifePo 4 battery. So let me show you that. Now this is a 100 amp hour LifePo 4 battery. This is made by Batteria Power. I got it for a really good deal on Amazon. 12.8 volts, 100 amp hour. Now this by itself will completely recharge my e-bike battery and still leave about 50% of this battery power charged up, okay? So I want to emphasize that because I'll explain why. Now this is very light. It's about 30 pounds. Now this trailer is designed for 100 pounds. I've carried 60 pounds of dogs at 35 miles per hour, so I'm not adding very much weight to this trailer. This trailer is designed for this amount of weight. So I'm going to be putting that in the front of this, which has a zipper panel. Put it over the frame so it's kind of stable. You may want to take some bungee cords or something like that to just make sure that that's going to not move around in there. I'm going to take my positive and negative cables. Make sure you hook them to the right side of the battery. Okay, so I've got those hooked up to the positive and negative on the battery. I'm going to take this clump of wire, and for now I'm just going to stick it in the trailer. I will make a partition where this goes, but for now we're just going to stick this wire right inside the trailer. I will have to get some zip ties and zip tie all that wiring together, but you can kind of get an idea here. Okay, so now I've got my controller and my wiring in there. My panel's on. All I need to recharge this e-bike is an inverter. And I'm going to use a 300 watt Bestech inverter. Okay, so this is a 300 watt Bestech inverter. It's a really small and lightweight unit, so I'm not adding a lot of weight to it. It has two 110 volt plugs, and it has two USB ports on it. And this one happens to have the cigarette lighter already attached, so I had to use an additional wire to hook it to the battery. If you wanted to, you can get the cables that are already bare wire, connect that, and then you won't have as much wire sitting around. But this will more than power the controller. This is the controller for the e-bike. It takes 175 watts. This is 300 watts. So it will more than power this controller. And this controller is designed specifically and came with this e-bike. So I'm not worried about running it because I charge it all this way all the time. I'm not worried about charging it directly from the inverter because it's going to be using the exact power that is required by this battery. So I'm not worried about overcharging the battery, and I can charge it while I'm riding or while it's just sitting. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I plug it into my extension cord, and then that has two clamps on it. And like I said, I don't really need all this wire. I will reduce this wire as we go along, but this is fine for now. And I'm going to connect my negative wire there to my negative post on the battery, and my positive wire to my positive post on the battery. Then I'm going to take my inverter, a little inverter, 300 watt, and I'm just going to find a place to put it down here in the trailer. That's fine right there. Then I'm going to plug in my power controller, which comes with the e-bike. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in my saddlebag. That way I don't have it sticking out in the way. I'm going to take that, and I've got a nice little saddlebag here. I'm going to put that in the top of my saddlebag, like so. Run my wire out. This is the wire that goes to the inverter. And this is the wire that goes to the e-bike battery. And I'm just going to plug this in. You can kind of hear it making a little noise. It doesn't have a fan in it, but it does make a little noise so you can tell that it's on. Take this extra wire here. Leave just a little bit of room so that it doesn't kink up on anything. And then I'm going to take this screen, and I'm going to tighten this, put this screen back down. Okay? Look pretty? No bunch of big wires hanging out. I've got just a little bit of wire here. I will close this up. Put my snap back on my saddlebag. Nice and neat, okay? And then my controller, which I'll show you here close up. This plugs into the battery. Okay, so you can see here I've got my 100 watt solar panel, flexible solar panel on top of my doggy hut trailer. Inside there is my 12 volt or 12.8 volt 100 amp hour LiFePO 4 battery, and I've got it connected to the controller, which you can probably see says that the battery is at 13.2 volts, so it is practically full. Okay, and this is connected then to the power of the inverter. The inverter's down there. It's kind of tipped on its side, but that's all right. I'd probably slide this over. You may want to, you know, make a better mount than what I've got in here. I've just got in this in here, temporary for now. But there's the inverter. Here's the cord that comes from the inverter up to the power controller or charger controller to charge the e-bike. And my e-bike charger is right there. Underneath that, I've got an igloo bag for carrying supplies and stuff like that. But there's my charger, and it says that the e-bike battery is fully charged. And then I've just got this cord here running down along the side of the bike. I've got it underneath the strap right here, and then it plugs into the battery. Here's the battery. Plugs into the battery right here, and you just want to make sure that you're not going to hit your power cord. Okay? And as long as you don't boot it loose, it should stay on there just fine. And make sure that it doesn't hit your power cord. And that will recharge your e-bike while you're riding. It will also charge it while it's just sitting. So if I want to go someplace camping, and I want to show you how much room this has in it. Now you can see inside this, there's the battery up front. And you can see I've still got all this room. Now I've got a ton of wire up there that I don't need. I will reduce that wire down, because I don't need near that much wire. But if you're using this for a different project, it's nice to know they send you all that wire. But you can see I've got all this extra room in here for camping supplies. I can even put my little dog in here and take her camping if I want to. And I will put a partition between the battery and the rest of it. That way, if I do put a dog in here, they won't get up next to those wires or chew on them or anything like that. That's for safety reasons. But if you're not using this and don't have dogs in it, you don't have to worry about it too much. But you can get all your camping supplies, a 2-person tent, couple sleeping bags, lots of groceries in here. And this can be loaded from the back or from the top. And I made the solar panel so it can be easily removed with the Velcro straps, so I can take that off and use it for other projects or get to the top of the trailer if I want to load it that way. All right, folks, that's as simple as it is to hook up a solar panel and recharge your e-bikes. And this will, if I've got a full e-bike battery, if that 52 volt 18 ampere battery is full, that's 30 miles right there. Okay, then it will recharge just from the battery, even without the solar panel, recharge from the battery at least once and probably twice from that battery. So I've got 90 miles of range. And if I'm going camping, most of the time what I would do is I will pull this into my camping spot, and then I will disconnect it from the trailer and let this solar panel recharge that battery. And because I've got an inverter in there, I can also use this for running all kinds of appliances that I might take camping. You know, like I've got a small 12 volt oven, and I've got fans, and I've got laptop computers. I may want to take that stuff along. I can run those at night off of this battery, this LiFePO 4 battery, and take along all my camping supplies and stuff like that, okay? And then I can go riding on my e-bike. When I come back, I can just plug it in. You don't have to connect it to the trailer. I can just pull it over and connect it into the battery, recharge up my e-bike, and I'm ready to go adventuring for the next trip. And, you know, now, will this be continuous? No, probably not. Eventually, if you ran the e-bike continually, which I don't know anybody does that, okay? Most people are going to ride about maybe 30 to 50 miles, and then you're going to stop somewhere and you're going to let it recharge. But if you was to run it continuously, eventually you would run down the main battery and your e-bike battery, because that's only a 100-watt solar panel. If you want to recharge continuously, you're probably going to need about 200 watts or 250 watts. This will recharge this battery in about half of that, about 40 to 50% of that battery in about 6 hours. It will recharge that, which is plenty enough to recharge the e-bike battery for a day of riding. All right, folks, that is the Ariel X 52 volt solar e-bike camper. Hope you enjoyed this video.